Hello. Today we're going to be covering handlers, variables, and conditionals. This is going to be some more advanced Ansible, but we're going to build on the things that we've already covered in the previous chapters. We're going to be using variables and conditionals and logic to better automate the things that we want to take care of. A simple table of contents here of what we're going to cover. So the first thing we're going to cover is using handlers. Basics of handlers and variables. So, handlers. Handlers are your helper. They are your friend in the Ansible world. They allow you to execute actions by sending a notify signal. Very common use case of handlers is to stop or start a certain service. Handlers are a little different than going in and adding restart lines or conditional logic yourself. They're really meant to save you some time. So one interesting thing about handlers is that a handler only runs if the notifying task changed. So in the configuration management world, we try to aim for idempotency so that we can run Ansible or Puppet or SaltStack or whatever our configuration management system is. We can run it repeatedly against the same host, and it should only execute changes when they're needed to be changed. So handlers fit very well into this paradigm. Typically, you will define handlers under the handler section at the bottom of your playbook. All right, so let's get into a basic handler for illustration purposes. We like Apache, so we're going to use Apache here as an example. So this is just a very simpler handler example. If it is called by your playbook with the notify, then it will simply restart Apache. And the name of it is restart Apache. We are going to then call the service HTTPD and issue the state restarted. So let's take a look at what that code looks like. So first you want to include the handler in your task. Typically, the notify could go at the end of pretty much any task that is related to what you're doing. So let's take a look at the code that we have here. And let's look at update HTTPD. Okay, so this is going to be similar to the other playbooks that we have authored and used in this course. We are going to be calling the web servers group of our inventory. We are going to be setting gather facts true. We are going to be setting the remote user as root. And then we have just one simple task here, which is to ensure that Apache is running the latest version. And then we want to call the handler functionality to restart Apache. So in larger playbooks, you will have a handler section. Typically, this will be in the same area where you have your templates, your files, or your tasks. There will be a directory called handlers you can put there. And then you can have a simple main.yaml inside of that directory, and then you can have all of your handlers in that main.yaml. But for simplicity's sake, we're going to include this in our playbook, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this. And we are going to do Ansible playbook. Well, let's look at our host. Let's look at our inventory file first. Very similar to what we've used before. We have an inventory group called web servers, and it contains a virtual machine host 01 and a virtual machine host 02. All right. So let's go ahead and run Ansible. Ansible-playbook-i hosts. And we are going to run update httpd.yaml. And what we're going to see here is that we don't have Apache installed. So it's going to go out to each of these hosts and it's going to install Apache, but it's also going to make sure it's the latest version. Okay, so see we have change there. Now we're running the handler. So we have two changed actions here, one per host. The first one is that we have installed Apache because it was not present before. Secondly, we have called the Apache handler to restart Apache. Now, if we were to run it again, nothing should happen because we've already got the latest version of Apache as of 10 seconds ago, and nothing should have changed to cause the handler to run. Remember that a handler will only fire off if something has been actioned inside of your task, which refers to the handler. So, let's run it one more time just to check. There we go. See, we did not fire off the handler because nothing happened with our original task.